Hello, guys. So, I'm Réka. This is Robert.
Hello, guys.
We're from Agora. We're from Agora Space. To give like a 1-minute intro of like why are we here? Agora Space is a service DAO or a product DAO building essential tools for internet communities. And for me, I am a veterinarian turned DAO person. And Robert?
And I got into programming when I was just 6 and got into the crypto space in 2014.
And we just want to build cool stuff. So we're based in Hungary, and we have a software firm background. So we're really tech heavy, but we're making a DAO because that's what we have to do to be fun and futuristic. So let's kick it off. So if we want to ask the right questions of what is actually needed in this space, and we want to explore on what to build and not to just sit around, then I have to ask the right questions. For example, what are the problems in the space? And this whole day is about talking about what issues DAOs face, so we're not going to give a full list of that. We're mostly going to focus on DAO2DAO interactions in this talk and mostly meta-governance. So if we ask the question, what are the problems, then we of course know that the participation is ridiculously low in governance. It is very difficult, for a not technical person, it is moderately difficult to participate in voting processes. And it's also an issue that there's no private polls available now. And the access control also has some issues. But if we think this way, that we go from the part of the problem, and this only allows us to build and think reactively, and we try to explore this vision and think more freely and explore how we can actually discover what is possible in the space. And so we started thinking, and we really see how DAOs need a lot more. So like we wanted to discover everything that can launch the space into hyperspeed, and we've discovered that DAOs need a lot more primitives that regard to like how we see the health of the community and how we can organize ourselves more effectively. There's the tools also like this multifunctionality. There's a lot of good tools that you can use. You know a lot of them, SourceGrid, Aragon, all those things. But we still need more functionality in them. And also regarding oracles, as probably you know, they only do price feeds, and they're more of like working towards this DeFi world, and they are heavily underutilized. And they are actually possible to extend the functionality of DAOs with social oracles that can connect it to social media and actually relate the DAO where things are happening in the space, which I'm going to talk about in a second, which is meta-governance. And we have this very cool picture for you so you can imagine it. So you join the DAO, and you're going to be a part of a lot more DAOs soon. And you have interest in them, you have skin in the game, you really want to participate. But the thing is that governance and all the voting processes happen in these little purple parts at the edges, like in the separate DAOs. And the tools only support the DAOs these separately. And we're really missing out on the real action, which is most of the time actually happens in these intersections. So the chatting, the organizing events, and most of the decision making actually happens where the people are, where the action is, in these intersections, in these pinker areas. And we have to utilize these areas, because if we do governance where the people don't hang out, we cannot be surprised that the participation is so dang low and the percentages are ridiculous and people are not motivated to go here to then go to Snapshot and then use their hardware wallet and then govern, because it takes a lot of steps and a lot of time. So we have to utilize all these pink parts here. Let's go. And how do we go about that? This is a cool graphic, but so what we have to do is actually bring DAOs and governance to where people are. We spend most of our time in these apps, Twitter, chatting, multiplayer games, whatever you do. And the idea is to create, the first step as we see it is to create these advanced gated access tools that are platform agnostic and can be used everywhere. And Yeah, that's coming later, but okay. You can leave it now. It's whatever. So these platform agnostic tools that need to be developed actually have to allow to create DAO intersections as well, because as you saw, you're part of a bunch of DAOs, and to be able to do governance well, you have to have those intersections ready to go all the time, and governance has to happen there. And so the second part of it is social oracles, which is very, very interesting, and not a lot of you are familiar with it, but the thing is the second part is that we have to bring these social actions back onto the blockchain, so to have governance with off-chain governments with on-chain settlements, because DAOs, you know. And to do that, social oracles come in really handy because that's exactly what they do. So what happens is that you have governance happening here, the proposals in social media, and the social oracle translates it into on-chain data. It's gasless. It is user-friendly as heck because you can stay in Discord, you can stay in your Telegram, and it makes the whole process way more seamless. And you still have on-chain settlement for DAO purposes. And this also allows different voting systems to be utilized, so you don't have to stick to the, democratic voting. You can also do quadratic voting, which is very fancy. You can still do token-weighted voting. So it allows so much more freedom to the people of the DAO to decide on what to use.
Token-weighted over multiple DAOs. That's important.
Oh yeah, so the intersections of the DAOs is the point that you can have both of the tokens, and then the ratio of your token holdings gives you a weight in the voting, which is very exciting. So in order to do this, we have to stop thinking in this monolithic way that tools exist on this platform and they're little walled gardens, because that's not going to help anything, and they can't function together. And to do that, we have to be composable with the tooling. We have to create tools that work together with each other, create this free data flow. And this is absolutely necessary to have this free data flow, to have actual useful collaboration between DAOs. It allows DAO to interactions. That's kind of like the first step of it. And yep, I think we can go. And so here's another platform where you have to go to, Meet Guild. But no, we focus on the first two steps. If we go back, we focus on the first two steps, which are the access control. This is very important for the beginning of it, and also the decision making that can happen in those intersections. So the meta governance. So Guild Baby is our child. For Agora DAO, it is a no-code tool to create token-gated access with advanced logic using NFTs, NFT traits, POAPs, ERC20 tokens, ERC 1,155 tokens, snapshot strategies, and a bunch of these. So you can create like an advanced logic for entry. And in true decentralized fashion, and to keep the vision of Web3, it comes with an API, so you can integrate it into anything that you have. Anything you can imagine. It could be a Jitsi call that's token gated with this. It could be your meta game or your whatever in the metaverse that you can imagine. And yep, this is the platform where you can see we added these 3 requirements, and these are all the ones you can add to it. And we have AND and OR logic, which is the most important ones, but we're also coming with NAND and NOR, which is super exciting. If you want to create a group that's only DeFi, you can create one that people can't hold in USDT. That's very interesting. You can go. This is an example of one guild where you can see we have 3 token requirements tagged with AND logic. You can see the members, you can customize it and everything. And you can also group these guilds to create these membership levels of your community. So this is my example Réka group. You can see I created it, you can join it, and the thing is that I have separate requirements for all these guilds in my group. So if you click join and you only fulfill the requirements for one of it, you only get entrance to one of them. So this creates levels in your community, or you can create, if you fulfill all of them, because you're like my niche, you have everything that I want you to have, then if you click join, then you get access to all of these, which these separate guilds correspond to like a Discord channel or whatever you decide, your game. You can go. And this is a guild car. This is basically just an explorer to see all the other guilds and groups that people create. What is this? Okay, anyway, so now that we have token-gated access down, we really have to find a way to actually bring DAOs to that meta-governance areas, the pink parts that I showed you like a couple of times already. And to do that, we have to create a voting scenario that happens there. And to do that, we needed the gated access, but now this is the second step. And you can create these votings anywhere. So your Jitsi, you can create it in your Discord, you can create it in your Telegram. Anywhere that you created gated access, you can spawn up these votings because that's where people are. That's where they're going to do it. They don't need yet hardware wallets because it is done with the social oracle, and it's going to turn into on-chain data. Yeah, it's very exciting, and this is going to help governance engagement tremendously, and also it decreases the difficulty tremendously. So I think this is definitely the way that we should go with this. And what's the closing? Oh, yep. And then we're going to demonstrate to you how we're going to create a guild for this DAOist event with the POP. Can you see all my tabs? Cool. Anyway, so back home. So we start from the beginning. I can create a guild. I'm going to name it. Can I put this here? Okay, cool. Oh, I'm going to name it DAOist 2021 Lisbon, and we're going to do it on our guild server just because I don't have access to the DAOist server yet, but maybe that's going to change and we can do it later too. I don't know. And here I'm going to put in the POP as the requirement for entry. So all of you that are here, you can get the DAOist POP. I'm sorry, I can't type and think and do everything. So there's a bunch of them. So we can also since we have the AND logic, we can, I don't know which one the POP is from that bunch, so I'm just going to add Casillo, I see the same. So I think we're going to add all of them. And then, boom. Okay, let's do 3.
And go with all.
Should I? Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, what if I'm not signing my MetaMask and I have to sign in? Oh, maybe you have to not see that part. Anyway. What's happening? Oh, you're trying to refresh. Do we have 5 minutes? What's happening? I'm sorry. Okay, I messed it up. Anyway, I'm going to make one. I'm going to ask for the guys for the DAOist survey, and we're going to have a little group there based on the POP, so you can join. Okay? Thank you. Question.
Hi there.
Hi.
Could you explain a bit more how do you mentioned that the voting happens within the community, within Discord or within the Jitsi, and then the social oracles are used to move those results to on-chain. Is that correct? Can you explain a bit more how does that work?
Yeah, so actually the VNet decentralized oracle that we are using, the guys over there already created a proof of, an MVP about this, but that was more like just optimistic because it's not fully decentralized. There is a server which provides an API, and VNet gets the data from the API. But we aim to add the possibility for DAO contributors to spin out their own bots basically and provide own API pawns inside the channels or inside any of these platforms. So eventually there will be many different APIs provided by the community, and VNet, the decentralized oracle network, will be able to crawl this data and eventually came up with one data point.
Thank you for the question.
Anyone else?
I got a quick question on. So does it mean that the user would have to connect their wallet with their social identity on the platform that on DAO.xyz? And is there a way for them to say, what if they are a bit more risk averse, they are a bit worried about, is that really a good way to connect those identities? How do you resolve those?
Yeah, that's a great question, and actually the reason why we started Guild, because Guild is basically open source software. When we came out from alpha, we will make everything open source, and you will be able to self-host it. But that's still just very Web 2. And eventually our plan is to create a self-sovereign identity management protocol on Ethereum. With ZK Snark, it's probably not going to happen on Ethereum 1, but maybe on Ethereum 2.0 it will become possible when you will be able to connect all your social media identities and all your wallets around the multi-chain words and prove that you hold certain amount of tokens without revealing that actually what is your wallet. And I think that's very, very important because in the future service providers will abuse this data and our blockchain addresses are becoming much more than just just addresses, just wallets. So it's becoming your CV, it's becoming your work history, it's becoming a lot more. And now we are putting a lot of social data on the chain as well. So it's going to be an issue, and we probably have to use ZK Snark.
But it all starts with gated access. That's the first step. We're also going to be here all day and all week, so come talk to us.